What's going on, people? What is up? I think y'all might have missed me for a whole week because I took off last week. I was traveling, I was running around the country and all that good stuff, but I am back. And it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Y'all know I wasn't going to be gone for too long. All right, so here we go. I have got an exciting, amazing, serious but at the same time, awesome episode happening tonight. So let me do my infamous introduction. Y'all ready? Because I kind of missed y'all. It's been a whole week. All right. So hello to all of my courageous queens and all of my courageous kings. I want to welcome y'all to episode number 23. Are y'all listening? It's been 23 times I've done this. This is so phenomenal. I can't believe it. All right. So this is my weekly Domestic Violence Awareness and Action podcast. It is called Silent No More. First of all, I want to make sure that y'all can hear me. I see a couple of y'all on here right now. We had a little technical issues today. Oh, Loisy, okay, good. Now I know you can hear me. What's going on? Okay, because we had some technical drama. The devil be busy. Can I just say that? Like right at 7 o'clock when I was supposed to go live, suddenly no internet. Are you kidding me? So anyway, I am back. God is good. I ain't worried about that. The devil has no place here. We all been through all of that. So I am Angelique Pierce. I am the founder of Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, better known as Ladder Masters. I am also a survivor of domestic violence, but I tell people all the time, I am an advocate of freedom and truth. That's at the top of the list. And I want y'all to know when I created Ladder Masters, I really did it for three important reasons. It was specific purposes. Number one was to bring awareness. There is so much that people don't know, don't understand, don't know where to look for it, don't know where the resources are. So much about domestic violence that people do not understand. Number two, to break down the facades. So not only do people not understand, there's a lot of myths and a lot of lies and a whole lot of misinformation out there about domestic violence. And the third reason is to build conquerors. Because you know what? When you're going through it, my guest will tell you, he's coming up soon. When you're going through it, you don't feel like a conqueror at all. You don't feel like yourself. You don't even know who you are anymore. But I am here to help build conquerors because where there is truth, there is light. Where there is light, there is life. And where there is life, there is love. And we can conquer anything. So I thank God for my journey. It was a rough one, but God is good. All right. So again, it's October. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of background because we are about to jump into an important show, but I got to make sure you got the understanding of what we're doing this particular month, October. It isn't just Halloween, y'all. This isn't just a Halloween month. There is something way more important going on. So, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it was actually launched in October of 1987. Did you know that? 1987. It was created as a way to connect and to unite the people and organizations that were working on domestic violence awareness issues and trying to really raise awareness about this issue because it is a really big societal problem. Now, over the past 30 years or so, there's been a lot of progress. I know, there's still a lot of opportunity, but there's a lot of work has been done in terms of bringing awareness to it, victims and survivors speaking out, and also legislation being passed to help and the services and support being provided. So I'm thankful. So this is the third Sunday of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I have got a special, look, I gotta do my dance real quick. I got a special episode. It is called It's Time to Jump, breaking free from the cycle of abuse. And I have got a special guest with me tonight. Let me kind of get it already. Y'all ready? He is a too cool, down to earth. He already laughing in the background, y'all. He already laughing in the background. Too cool, down to earth, survivor of domestic violence, a voice for men where there has been much silence. Did I say that right? A voice for men where there has been much silence. A true champion and a thriver. Y'all ready? Tommy, Texas, Dudley. Y'all want to meet him? Wait. Y'all got to really tell me that y'all want to meet him. I'm not seeing, I want some comments. I want something. Tell me y'all ready to see this brother. Y'all ready? I'm going to show him. Y'all ready? Here we go.
Hey,
Hey!
what's going on?
What's
Hey,
going on, man? What is
hey,
up?
ain't nothing, Queen. Thank you having me on the show tonight.
I know that's right. I know that's
Yeah.
right. Oh my gosh, I am looking forward to the discussion. Now, listen, this isn't the easiest thing for anybody to talk about.
Oh
But one
yeah.
thing you and I discussed was that we were going to
Mhm.
have a good time, right? We're going to
Oh yeah,
talk
most
about this
definitely.
thing because
Yeah.
we have to talk about it. Look at she said, I'm ready. Oh my God, I'm ready. She watching from YouTube. All
Oh,
right,
okay.
so check this out. We got so much to discuss tonight. I got to almost get right into it. But before I do, I always tell my guests, hold up. There is something that we have to do. We have to say a prayer because I truly believe that we have got to have God with us and his spirit with us as we have these conversations. Because the truth of the matter is, when you think about domestic violence, when you think about what's going on, to me, that stuff is demonic,
Mhm.
right? What we've been through, there's some serious spirits there. So you
Mhm.
and I got to pray God's spirit into this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and bow my head. You bow your head too. God, we come before you just thanking you for this moment. Father, we thank you that you and your spirit are here with us. As we proceed through this discussion, God, there is so much to be said, but not just to be said because we want to just talk. We need to say it because there are people's lives at stake, God. Men, women, children, whole communities of people are at stake because domestic violence is just, God, is so disgusting. It is demonic. It's so pervasive. There are people who are going to join this session tonight or who will listen to the recording later. God, I just ask you that you help them hear this in a way they've never heard it before, God. You help them hear Tommy. You help them hear me in a way they've never heard this before, God, because we want nothing but change. Change for the better, change for the positive, change for the good, something that will be freeing to their spirits, to their hearts, souls, and minds, God. This walk, this journey is no joke. So I say to every victim, to every survivor, I thank God for giving them the strength to get out, the courage to stay out, that they will then rise and be able to tell their stories because it's in these stories that we learn so much. In these stories that we save the next person from having to go through such pain. God, we ask you to be with us. Let us speak freely. Let us speak our hearts. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Woo! So who's this person on? This let me show you the comments. Here we go. You ready? Who's
Uh,
that?
That's my sister.
Hey, sis. Who? What she
Oh,
say? Love you, brother.
love you too. Love
All
you
right, check
too.
this out. I'm so glad she joined. Listen,
Love
everybody,
you too.
whoever's on right now, I want y'all, this is about to be a major moment. I have been asked so many times, Angelique, Angelique, where's the men? Where's the men? You know, you come on and we appreciate the story. No doubt, I know they appreciate the story. I bring on female survivors and they tell their stories. But over and over again, I have been asked, where are the men and what's their perspective? And tonight, we got a man, not just any man, but this cool dude that's a
Hey,
trash talker on top of that. We're talking
hey.
trash. We're going to get to that in a second. So if you haven't yet shared this, I need you to stop right now. Find that button. I don't know where it is on your phone, on your iPad. I don't know.
My,
Maybe you're an Android person. I ain't an Android person. But
ooh,
find it. Hit that share button. Share
yeah.
it to your personal page. Share it to whatever Facebook group you are a part of. Y'all probably about part of 10 groups. I think I'm part of like 20 of them, right? Share it. Tag a person. If there is a man that you know needs to be on here and you are watching right now, you tag that brother in because
Yeah.
he might just need to hear it. Or a female, doesn't matter. Tag him in too.
Mhm.
So we're about to get started. I have said it. I'm going to keep on reminding y'all because this episode is important. Okay, so I got these things right here called questions,
Uh-oh.
right? Now, listen, y'all. I told Tommy the plan. I said, I got these questions. Y'all know me, I'm real analytical, real organized, right?
You
But I
know.
also know this dude right here, how he can be, and I also know God's spirit. So we gonna go where this thing gonna go, okay? And is it Shanta or Shanta? How you say your sister's name?
Santa.
Hi, Shanta. What up, girl? You a sister now. We all sisters. Here we go. All right. So Tommy, first,
Yes, ma'am.
I kind of know you a little bit, just a little
Yeah,
taste.
yeah,
Here's
yeah.
the thing. but they don't know you. They don't all know you. So what I want you to do before we get into your story, which has a lot of serious elements to it, a lot of serious, very serious in many ways, we want to talk about who Tommy is. Where you from? I heard you might actually know a little something about the HBCU life. I mean, I might have heard that somewhere.
You know what?
Hey,
Yeah.
what you know about that? What you know about that?
Come on now, fam. You rattling this thing, Texas Southern Tigers. You already know.
We got to find out what's on repeat in your music playlist. We need to know something about Tommy. You got to tell us some things. All right, come on. Tell us about Tommy.
Well, I'm from the Triple D Dallas, born and raised. You know,
Born and
like you
raised.
said, you know, I always rep that FAMU Rattlers wherever I go. Texas Southern Tigers, they call me Texas. Rep that Triple D all day, every day. You know, I love Tupac. Tupac is my man. He gets me through. You know, I'll be
That's who's on
bumping it.
repeat. That's someone who's repeating your
Hey,
playlist.
Tupac, Nipsey Hussle. I bumped that Dolph, that young Dolph out of Memphis, that money bag, yo. You know, it's all about the beats and what them brothers got to say, what they bringing to the table, you know. But yeah, I love to shop. You know, I rep, you know, Texas hard. Like I said, I got so many hats. I got every color. You know, I'm a sneakerhead. You know, I brought my goons with me right here.
I cannot with
Representing
you
the
right
Dallas
now.
Mavericks in that purple.
I noticed the purple thing going on. What's going on with that? What's going on?
Oh, purple. That's the that's my favorite color. Been my favorite color since I was 4 years old. Also, it's our ribbon color for DV Awareness Month.
That's right.
And you know, the ancient Phoenicians, that's the color of royalty. So that's why we the royal family, kings and queens.
That's what I'm talking about.
Already.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. I don't know. This is interesting because I just kind of reset up my StreamYard account, and I'm like, I hope I'm not missing any comments with anybody. So listen, I got my comments on, and if you want to say what's up to Tommy, we are about to get into this. And again, if you have not shared this yet, y'all, listen, I told you, I have been asked so many times for this moment. And me and Tommy have actually talked about some things we could do in the future. We're going to save that. We're going to talk about it yet because the male voice in this is so important. And I am just so grateful for you because seriously, like, there's not many that come forward. I don't even have to say, I'm going to let you talk. This is your night. I'm just going to be here to facilitate this conversation because your story is really important. So, all right, here we go. You ready? We're going to jump from the silly, funny into what's really going on, right? What really happened here.
Yeah,
so here's my first serious. I'm going to throw you a first serious question, all right?
Okay.
A lot of survivors are truly afraid or even ashamed. Can I say that? Sometimes they're actually ashamed to admit that they survived domestic violence. I mean, it's just, it's a reality of what we've all been through. So my question for you, and I'm sure the audience is wondering too, what makes you willing? Why are you willing to come on this show and share your story? Why is that important to you?
Well, you know, first off, you know, I feel like, you know, as a man, that it needs to be heard. You know, it's too many men out here being abused, and the young ladies, the queens, the sisters have no idea. The honest to God truth is these men out here being abused don't even know they being abused. You know, we feel like, you know, your girl just hitting on you, she's slapping on you, you know, you can take it, you a man, you know, man up, all this stuff they say to you. So you just taking it as you know, that's whatever, you know, she's just hitting on you. It's nothing. It's a joke, it's a game. You know, people videotape that sort of stuff and put it on social media, and everyone's laughing about it, you know, because that's funny for a girl to be going upside a dude's head. But it's totally different when a girl, you know, the guy's going upside a girl's head. You know, then everybody's gonna be up in arms. So it's so many double standards on the situation, and I feel like it's unfair. I don't want to take anything from my sisters and the queens. I just want everyone to know that men feel it just as much as women. You know, that's the only difference, that we men and y'all women. But other than that, we bleed the same, we bruise the same. You know, it's all the same thing.
You
I
hurt
want
the
it to
same.
be recognized.
You hurt the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all human beings. You know, we all have feelings. You know, we might not be able to show it the way y'all show it, but it's there. It's there. So somebody has hurt that man to where he can't express his feelings. Some father, mother, uncle has told that man, don't cry. Man up, don't be no punk, don't be no B, don't be no, you know, all these words that we hear in society keeps us that way. You know, I've had girls tell me, hey, if I get a dude to cry, I can't be with him. You know, let that man cry. You
Let
know,
that man cry.
let that man have them feelings. Crying is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a strength. But once you get all that poison up off of you, you know, then you can clean your soul, clean your mind, you know, work on your mental health and stability. So I
Mm,
mean, I feel like it's just something that needs to be out there amongst everybody. It's not taboo. It's a real thing.
it's a real thing. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, you look at the statistics and it's like, okay, we are very aware. And it
Yeah.
always depends on which one you're looking at, right? And how they define the particular thing. But the major one you always hear is that it's 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men have experienced domestic violence at some point in their
Mm-hmm.
lifetime. That's enough right there. That's enough right there. That's too many.
Yeah.
That's too many. When you think about just the United States, don't get me
Mm-hmm.
started about what's happening
Oh,
over in Europe and
oh yeah.
in Asia, and don't even
Africa.
get me to Africa. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
started. When you put that all together,
Mm-hmm.
millions of people.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
if there is a person, even one person that is discounting the male story, I can tell you what they can do for me, because I got a problem with
Oh
that.
boy.
I
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
problem with that. The male story is real too. So, and that's statistics. I always say that with statistics, that's only what's reported.
Exactly.
It's what you said. Half the
Exactly.
time they don't even want to say nothing. They're being told, man, you better
Mm-hmm.
man up, suck it up, man. Whatever. You gonna let her punk you? You let her, like you said, call you a B, whatever, all that. All right. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your willingness. You see that lady right there whose comment is up there, Tanara? That's my best friend.
Oh, appreciate you.
That's
Appreciate you,
my
Queen.
best friend on here. She says,
Much
such a double
love.
standard. She respects your courage to speak up.
Much love. I appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so now here's where I'm going to try not to cry, because I tried not to the first time you told me, because I wasn't aware of this, right? So your story of abuse
Mm-hmm.
starts before adulthood. It's
Yeah.
before your adult relationships.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because when we talked, I really did not know. So when you started to lay that on me, I didn't know what to do with it at first. I had to like process it. But your
Oh,
story starts when you were growing up, your experiences while you were growing up. So as much as you want to share, and I'm gonna just let you go for a little bit, but as much as you want to share, you tell us about those experiences, because I know they played into your stuff later in life.
mhm. Yeah. So we were talking about, you know, when I grew up, you know, back in the 80s and 90s with my parents, you know, when they were living together. My sister can attest to this. We never knew when mom and daddy was gonna be into it, when they was
Mm,
gonna be fighting. So, you know, I don't know how my sister felt about it, but I was always scared because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why they were fighting. You know, I knew my mom was an extra aggressive woman. You know, she was, you know, hard headed. You know, she held a lot of grudges. You know, she fight anybody. I mean, she fought our kinfolk. She fought her aunties and uncles. She fought her twin sister. She fought her nephew. She fought her homeboy. She fought the people at the church, the doctors, the dentists,
wow.
whoever came up against her. She was gonna come with it. You know, that's somebody you want to have your back when you about to get in a fight at the club. Is my mom,
Right,
because
right.
she gonna throw them paws. You know, she was
Mhm.
always ready for a fight. And you know, me and my sister didn't find out till later that was because of how she grew up. She
Mm,
grew up fighting. She grew up not trusting our family and our relatives. You know, I feel like it was a certain hate for them, you know, a certain regret, just didn't trust them. She didn't even want us to be around them. So we saw them on the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, church, stuff like that, funerals, most of
right.
all. But she didn't want us to be around. We couldn't spend the night. We couldn't hang out with them. We didn't really call them. You know, it was just a holiday and funeral thing. You know, so me and my sister are both estranged from our relatives. That's why me and my sister are so close, because
Right.
we can relate on the level of, you know, watching, you know, my mom and how she was so overprotective. You know, she didn't let us go to the movies with our friends. We didn't go to the mall with our friends. We didn't go to school dances and homecomings and all this
Mm,
sort of stuff. You know, my sister didn't even go to the prom. That's how strict my mom was. I
wow.
went because I was just like, I'm tired of this.
Yep.
I gotta live life. But
Yep.
you know, we just, you know, watched her how she would talk to my dad and how she
Mhm.
would, you know, my dad was a drill sergeant in the army, so everyone feels, oh, well, he was tough and strict. And no, my dad was so laid back. That's probably where I get it from. You know, I get
Mhm.
the movies and the cologne game and all that stuff, the dressing up and stunting. I get that from my daddy. That's
Right.
where it came from. And my mom, she was in the music, so I got that from her. That's why I'm dancing and listening to music all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them 8 tracks and them records, they was steady spinning 3 in the morning. She cleaning up 2, 3 in the morning, which used to get on my sister's nerves, but she didn't even let us sleep in our own rooms. We had to sleep in the room with her. And then when my dad was sleeping in the bed, she made us sleep in the middle of them. So we were in elementary school, still sleeping in the bed with our parents because my mom didn't want my dad to touch her.
Wow.
We didn't know any of this. We just feeling like, oh, this is normal. You just sleep in the bed with your parents, I guess. But me and my sister always wanted to sleep in our own rooms, but she wasn't having that. For one, she said we didn't clean it and fix it the way she wanted it done. And then for two, to come to find out she don't want him near her. So she always says stuff like he forced himself on me. That's how I had kids and all that sort of stuff. And me and my sister, we really didn't know what that meant. We like, daddy is irritated a lot, and mama is saying this. So, it's just confusing.
Yeah.
And I asked my sister, just these past few years, did daddy actually ever hit mama? And she said no, because they weren't fist fighting. He'd be trying to hold her and she'd be pulling his hair. Because at the time he had a Jerry curl, so she's trying to pull his hair. She's in his face. She's jumping down on the table, talking about your mama and your sister, and your mama's a bee. And then one time I remember he was in her face and they standing this close together and she's antagonizing him and she licks his face. I told my sister, I said, daddy had to be a strong dude to just sit there and take that, and not knock her out like some other guy would have done. And he stood there and took it. I mean, he yelled, but she licked him in his face. And then, we watching them tussle and fall on the floor. I'm jumping on his back, holding his neck. My sister jumping on him. We trying to get him off our mom, but he's just holding her.
Yeah.
And, then the family comes over because her whole family was there in Dallas. My daddy's family was in Waco and Houston. So what she said pretty much went. So then I got my big cousins, my uncles, the aunties, my grandmother, everybody coming over. Yeah, they all come over to the house to see what done happened. And we see them wanting to jump on my daddy. And later on in the future, I see that's what the same thing that was happening to me. I didn't have nobody to call, but everybody's family is coming to try to jump on me because of what you saying. But they're not seeing what you doing, or they too afraid to tell you. They just enable you.
Was your mom, was the abuse ever directly to you and your sister, like from your mom?
And she gave us good whoopings, and she didn't let us do a lot. The verbal abuse is what I can say was the worst. My sister endured a lot of. I feel like she used to just pick at my sister. My sister's older than me. She's 2 years older than me. She's 42. I'm 40. And she used to tell me things like, you better not have a woman and do more for her than you do for me and your sister. So that was what I used to get all the time. Don't put anybody before us, but she just, oh my gosh, she just used to mistreat myself with the words she used to call her and the stuff she used to say to her. And, she had us do things like hide the phones. We couldn't tell people we had phones. We would show up to school late. All sorts of stuff. Then, my dad got tired of it because he was the breadwinner. We didn't see my mom work. Neither one of my parents had cars or a driver's license. So we rode the bus everywhere. We carried them 10, 12 bags of groceries in the snow, in the heat, the blazing sun of Dallas. We did all that. We had to beg for rides, but most of the time we just rode dark. We rode that bus and that train. That's all we knew. So my mom, finally, I guess he got to the point to where she had ticked my daddy out so much, he said, get out. So me and my sister had to decide, were we going to go with my daddy and stay with him? Or were we going to go into these shelters with my mom?
Wow.
And that was the hard decision. I was a 4th grader. My sister was a 6th grader. And we ended up deciding to go with my mama. I felt like, well, maybe I should go with her. I got to protect my mama and sister. you know, and I thought my daddy was wrong because that's how my mama portrayed it. He was wrong, you know. She had us going through his books and looking for money and taking his money and watching him to see if he was riding with women and you know all sorts of stuff, you know. So we was like little spies in the house, and you know my daddy would ask like, "Where's your mama at?" And we knew where she was at, but she had programmed us to say, "Ask mama, ask mama." We couldn't tell him nothing. He'd be so upset. But we knew that she was out with her homeboy, that she was out with a male friend.
Mm.
But
And
she
y'all were
told
in the
me,
middle as kids. Y'all were in the middle
yeah,
of this.
we were in the middle. Me and my sister, we that's why, like I said, it's just me and her because we the only two who truly know what my mom was like. Besides my dad and you know my grandmother, her mom, you know, we were the only ones that really knew what she was like. Everybody else was just
Yeah.
afraid of her.
Yep.
All our cousins, all the aunts, her aunties and uncles, everybody was afraid of her. The people in the neighborhood, they gave her the nickname in South Dallas, Wild Bill and Roscoe. That's what they called her.
Your mom, they called your mom that?
That
Okay.
was her nickname in the hood. So when people see me and my sister in Dallas, Dallas is a huge city, the DFW.
Mm.
Hey, your mama Roscoe. Your mama's Wild Bill. Where your mama at? Because she was always with us. Everywhere we were, she was there. Because she didn't trust anybody and she was trying to protect us from what she had been through.
So
The
she
the
had her
rape.
own level of experiences prior
Mm-hmm.
to even the marriage with being with your
Yeah.
dad that
Yeah.
colored her. Yeah, and then it just that stuff gets generational. It
Yeah.
does.
Oh
Tommy,
yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to so when you think forward, right? When you
Mm.
think forward to your adulthood,
Right.
and we mentioned in the flyer, you got, these two situations that you went through of domestic
Mm-hmm.
violence, right? So
Yeah.
I am going to ask you to share a little bit about the first one,
Okay.
and then we'll get to the second one. But thinking forward, like how did it all happen the first time? How did it all happen the first time for you as an adult?
Well, you know, I just like I was telling you the other day, I just wanted to go to homecoming down at fam to see my boys. I hadn't seen them in a while. So in doing that, you know, my pastor, I just rededicated my life to Christ and he told me not to go. And I wanted to go because you know, I'm a rattler, you know, the orange and green in my blood. So I'm trying to get over there. You know, the boys, they want to pay for me and everything. So I end up going over there and see one of my homeboys' nieces. And, you know, I was feeling her and I should have saw the red flags then, but I was feeling her, so I pursued her, you know, and it was long distance for a little bit. You know, I was in Dallas, she was in Seattle, Tacoma, and she told me to come up because you know she came down to visit in Dallas. I showed her around and stuff, so she told me to come up to Seattle. As soon as I went to Seattle, all the drama hit the fan. Before I even got there, because my homeboy, he didn't want to be my homeboy no more. We started beefing. Her stepdad jumped into it. Her auntie, the grandfather, everybody didn't want me to come to Seattle for some reason. I'm like, what's the deal with this? Y'all been knowing me for 6+ years, way longer than I've known her. I've been knowing y'all since I got to fam in
Right,
1999. So what's the
right.
deal? You know, so the next thing I know, I'm up here and I, you know, stay at a place. They didn't want me to stay at a place. Um, so I, like I said, I gotten into it with so many people. So many people were in the middle from her side that you know I am my mom and daddy's child. You come at me wrong sideways, I'm gonna come back at you, whether you the pastor or not. I got respect for you, but you're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
disrespect me. So he ended up jumping in it. You know, I was in church. We were in church one day, and he calls her to the back and her parents. And I'm in the church by myself, and I'm looking around, you know, during worship. Hey, shoot, I ain't got left up in this thing, you know. Jesus is mine, you know. I'm clapping and stuff. I was like, where everybody at? So somebody come in there and say, hey, T, go to the back. The pastor's looking for you. So I go back there. She already in the pastor's office crying, and her stepdaddy and mama is sitting behind her. So I said, oh, this ain't good. This ain't good. So he starts going in on me. He tells me I'm not a man of God. I don't care about her. I'm just shacking. Why am I up here? And he's saying all this stuff. So I'm getting heated. And I'm like, who are you talking to? And he continues to do it. He's like, oh, there he is. That's the real him. That's him. You know, he's pointing him. I said, man, you a man of the cloth and you talking to me like that? I was like,
Mm.
you know, you put your pants on one leg at a time, just like me. You ain't no better than anybody else in this house of God. You know, so he's steady trying to antagonize. I get up and leave. You know, he done, you know, burnt me at this point. You know, so that whole thing caused this 5-6 year beef between me and the church because he had said what he said. Then her grandfather got involved. He ended up firing her from the job because she was with me. You know, the uncle didn't talk to me no more, which was my homeboy from college. We stopped talking. We beefing now.
Was all of this because things were happening between you? Like, what was happening between you and her?
This all happened because we started dating.
Okay.
This, you know, the abuse hadn't even started yet. The abuse didn't start until after I kept bringing it up. Because, like I said, my mom taught us to hold grudges. So you telling me, oh, let them come over. You need to act right when they're around. And I'm like, no, we not cool. Why pretend? You know, I'm not gonna save face for them. And you know, they done said this about me. It's not gonna go down like that. So she didn't like that. She felt like I was disrespecting her family and her pastor, and that I should just conform to what they want me to do and conform to what they saying. When the issue was that she let too many people get into our mix in the first place. Mm-hmm. She let too many people have opinions, let too many people come into the relationship and give they 2 cents because it wasn't worth 50. It was 2 cents. And that caused issues between our relationship. So ultimately, you know, I was still up there because, you know, she tried to commit suicide one night because we were arguing about this situation. That's how big it was. And I had to call the ambulance and I ended up riding with her and I talked to her family and stuff when we got to the hospital. But they were mad because I had stayed up there and they said I was shacking, like I said. And I stayed up there because she had tried to commit suicide. And because of the things she had told me about her life that were secrets. So come to find out, she had the same issues that my mom had. Rape, molestations, people at friends of the family, people in the family, hurting people. Exactly.
What was the first experience of you, like her, the abuse from her to you, things she had done to you?
The first experience I was
if you remember the first, whichever, it may not be the first experience, but particular experience that you remember.
Well, I do remember the first experience because it caught me off guard. You know, that's how I know I can take a punch because, you know, it was 2 sucker punches. But I was talking about something I was wearing. You know, I just wanted her to like what I had on my appearance. I talking about the hat and the coat. And she like, it's okay, but it's not my style. And I told her, I said, well, when your brother did it, you know, you was all about it and you loved it. But when I did it, you didn't like it. So she said, are you saying that I'm sleeping and messing with my brother?
And I was like, ain't nobody say that. Yeah, nobody said that.
Before I could get that thought out, though, here come the right hook. Boom. My face turned. And I said, wait a minute. I'm testing my lip guard. Like, that was a good hit that she just put on me. And then I looked at her and she got fired up again and she said it again. Boom. The other side. I was like, wow. I was like, am I supposed to call the police? I was like, am I supposed to hit her back? Like my mama taught me to fight. Like, what are my options? Do I leave and go back? Because what y'all need to understand, I left Dallas. I left all my stuff. I left everything.
To be with her. Yeah.
Moved to Seattle and worked at the airport. So I'm stuck in a good career, you know, in a house, you know, getting on a lease, you know, all this stuff that I've done, and I've left my life in Dallas behind to be in Seattle, a place I didn't even really like, you know. So I didn't have anybody up there. Her whole family was there. I didn't have anybody but her, you know. So I remember that instance, you know, and then I remember another instance of going to work and we had gotten into it and she fought me before I, you know, could get out the door, and I'm in my work uniform. I was a cook. So I get down to the restaurant and I was running a little late. I get in there, but I ain't say nothing. And my cook jacket, you know, the one with the buttons, the white jacket, I had that on. And right here on my arm, it was 4 scratches like a claw mark from a cat, and it was bleeding. And I'm in there trying to cook, but I'm trying to cover it because I don't want my managers and the other cooks and the runners and everybody to see that I'm bleeding. So I go to the bathroom and I got to put a wet cloth on me and kind of dampen it, try to stop the bleed because I'm still bleeding from her
Yep.
scratches. So I do remember that instance, trying to hide that. I remember being attacked in the hospital while she was pregnant. And she slamming
She
my
was
head.
pregnant, attacking you.
She attacked me in UW Medical Center. And she attacked me. The nurse ran out real quick and called security, and security had to get me out of there. She broke my phone. She took my SIM card. I remember so many. I got attacked in the shower so many times. It was like a trigger for me to even be in the shower.
That's so. What I hear a lot of is a lot of physical. I don't know if there was more. If there was a lot of verbal. I don't know if there's a lot of emotional or psychological stuff. When you think about the thing that takes you back to that moment where you're like, this is it. No more. I have got to go. Sorry, that's my dog. He always, I swear my dog now forever comes in here when I'm on these.
I need some emotional support.
Right. But when you think back to that moment, this episode is called It's Time to Jump, Breaking Free from the Cycle of Abuse. When you think about that moment with this situation, what was that made you say, I'm done. I'm done.
You mean the final thing, or you
mean final thing that made you say I'm done?
The final thing was the first time I actually got the bravery to call the police.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't something I was gonna do. But I was about ready to go to work, 3 a.m, about to head to the airport in my work uniform. I work for the airline, and we got into it. She broke another one of my phones. I took my wedding ring off and I showed it to her. Mm-hmm. From there, she went to strangling me with my work.
You showed it to her as in I'm done. This is it.
Oh, I had already took it off.
Okay.
I took it off before I walked out the door, and I saw it in her eye. Then she just came at me and she started choking me with my own necktie. And then she was shaking. She was like, she was this close to me, looking me in my eyes. She's shaking. And I tried to get into the living room, and I remember her coming after me, and we hit some light fixtures, and a piece of the light fixture broke off. I remember we were on the couch. She had me bent over the couch. It got to the front door, and that's when I was able to get out. So I don't even remember how I got out. She was throwing my clothes at the front door and everything, but I don't remember how I got out. So I walked out. I'm walking down the street, like I said, 3 a.m. in Seattle, Washington. Got a few blocks down the way, I saw a light. Because it's dark as all get out there. I see a light, and it's to a payphone. I go in that payphone and I dial 911 and I tell them I need some help. I need to get my stuff out. Please come. So they roll up. Federal Way Police. They come. They get out the car. They made me feel like nothing. I was like, why did I even call them? They taking pictures of me. They asked me, did she cut off your breathing? Was she choking you hard? Or how did this make you feel? Or, I'm like, dude, I just told you she was strangling me. What do you think of course my air supply is being cut off. She's strangling me with a necktie.
Right.
So they like, okay, well, in the state of Washington, somebody got to go to jail. And I said, I'm not from here. I said, I just want you to help me get my stuff so I can get out safely. No, you got to take us to her because she's going to jail. So I get in the back of a police car, my first time in my life. That scared me because where I'm from, we don't deal with the cops.
Right.
So they take me up the thing. I'm showing them where to go. I see her car parked. I tell them where it's at. And I was thinking, I need to text her, but I didn't have my phone.
Right. She broke it.
So they go knock at the door and I'm like, please, babe, don't answer. Please don't answer. At this time we were married. And I was like, please don't answer. Please don't answer. I'm thinking this in my head. So she didn't answer. They were walking away. Then she answered. Then they hemmed her up, and I
Mm-hmm.
heard her, struggling with him, and they were trying to cuff her.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, her stepfather rolls up, and he's angry at me, and he's trying to get me, and he's saying, take both of them to jail. And he wants to fight me. So the cop says, sir, get in the house because he wants to hurt you. And they steady telling him to leave.
Yep.
But he don't want to leave. And they say, if you keep on coming over, we're going to arrest you too. So they put her in the car. I go in the house. I try to gather myself. I see stuff on the floor to where she was struggling with him with stuff she dropped.
Right.
And, her mom called me and told me I was wrong. Luckily, my daughter wasn't there. We had only been married probably like 2 or 3 months.
God.
Yeah,
It was enough, right? Done.
yeah,
Like needed to
yeah,
be done. I'm glad you
yeah,
got out of that one because that marriage right there from the jump. Like, look at
yeah,
that. 2 or 3 months.
yeah.
Saw some of it. People made some really good comments in here, just kind of like, there's so much going on. People are using like she clearly had a lot. I can't imagine someone taking, like, I've been in the headlock, but I've
Mm.
never had an object around my throat. I don't know what that's like, and I pray I never ever find it out.
Well,
So
when you tie your neck die, you know how you do it like
yeah,
that when you tie it.
yeah,
So
yep.
she had it and she pulled the two ends.
To tighten it and make you, yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're good.
I
Listen,
appreciate me
that
too.
was your first situation, right?
That was my first.
This second time, was that one as physical? Like, do you remember the first or earlier moments, some of the things that occurred in that situation? Some of
I
the abuse moments?
I do. That one was shorter. I guess I came to my senses. I didn't stay in there from the first one was 2006 to 2010. The second one was 2015.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I remember the abuse started somewhere around June of 2015. Um, and I remember I worked with this young lady, and we both were in relationships, but they were on the rocks.
Yep.
So we confided in each other,
Yep.
and me and my sister and my nephews, we had a living situation issue, and we couldn't live with my mom, and so we were living in hotels and stuff, and I was paying for that, and those hotels are expensive, so I can only do so much.
Right.
She volunteered her house. She had 2 children. So I got close with her kids. I actually got close with her dad. Knew her situation. She knew mine. I told her about the abuse. And I told her about, you tell them about past relationships, and then they tend to know how to straighten it out and go off of what you just said to look good and do everything that you want to do.
Uh-huh.
But that's how they fix it. So I mean, she did everything I wanted her to do in the beginning. It was a honeymoon phase.
But of
And
course, right? How
yeah,
can
of
they
course.
do that to you? I would
Hey,
never do that to you.
yeah, it was crazy. But I remember I got into a car accident Father's Day, June of 2015. I was
Yep.
in the car with my realtor, looking for a place to stay. I was trying to, help out my sister and nephew, not go back to my mom's house.
Yep.
Get out of this girl's house. So we in the car and got rear-ended and pushed us a few feet, and both of us was hurt, me and my realtor. So that the next couple of days I still was going to work because at the airport I was still working at the airline. You can't just miss work, and they need you. It's on their time, it's on their schedule. So I was hurt, but I was trying not to act like it was hurting me. She actually attacked me in the back room while I was filling out paperwork to go meet a flight. So I was actually over her at the time. I was like a lead and she was under me, and she got mad at me. She flipped my chair from up under me, and I made an excuse. So I went to the hospital that day to go get checked on for the accident. So I left and then she left, and everybody's like, why is he leaving? Why is she leaving? And people, always thought that we were together, but we can't try to keep it under wraps.
Right.
People always in your business, But I remember that, and then like certain nights, she get mad at me for not wanting to sleep with her. or not wanting to do certain things she wanted me to do, and she put my bags outside, and I had my stuff in trash bags at the time, and she cut holes in them or peel holes in them, and to where if I'm trying to leave, my clothes and stuff will fall out. Yeah, my stuff is just, you telling me to leave and to get out, but you poking holes in my stuff so I can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
And one time she tried to take my clothes back in the house, and I told her I was going to call the police, and she said when they came, she wouldn't have to answer the door, or she tell them I did something to her.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Play the victim. That's a real thing. We all know.
Yeah.
They're real good at that.
Yeah, exactly. So that happened so many times throughout the course of that. That was probably the only time I actually called the cops on her. But when I called, they answered and I hung up.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want her to get in trouble. I didn't want her to get arrested. I didn't want her to be taken away from her kids.
Wait, we're gonna put a pin right there. Isn't it amazing? It's almost scary, like the people that have done stuff to us. Now listen, hold on, let me back up a second because some people are joining as we go.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, y'all, this is Tommy. Tommy, about one of the coolest cats you can know. But let me say this, he's been through some things, and the truth is, if you were at the beginning of the show, you would know that he saw some really tough times as a kid with his mom and his dad, his mom being the aggressor, but making the dad out to be the aggressor, right? Saw a lot of problems in the household, and some of that stuff translated over into your adulthood. I'm just going to say it that way, right? And so you found yourself in these two different relationships. Thank God for where you are right now. Let me just say that to you. But you found yourself in these two different relationships. One woman you were married to. This other one, you kind of, like you said, we all learn. We start to learn a little bit faster how to get in and out of these things. We start learning these lessons. So Tommy is now talking about the second relationship that was the shorter one. And I just listen and I'm thinking to myself, how is it? You did it, I did it too. These people who actually hurt us, we somehow care enough that we don't call the cops. Or if we do, when the cops actually arrive, we're like, well, it's okay now. I'm all right now. And we protect the people who have been hurting us.
Yeah.
That is a piece of abuse that I understand how we get there. But God, I can think of times where I protected my abuser, thinking, how's my daughter going to feel if her dad's gone and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But anyway, you know the story. I'm a woman and I did it. You're a man and you did it. We do that. Gosh, I just So when you think forward to the thing that made you jump out of that one, when you were like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. No more. What was that?
Queen, honestly, both of these situations I got out in Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I didn't even know it.
What? Yeah, you didn't tell me that.
I thought about it later on, but I left my first marriage. I left in October of 2010, and this second I left October 2015.
Told you, October ain't just for Halloween.
It sure ain't.
It's an awareness month, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and your heart was extremely aware for whatever reason at that time.
But I had no idea. I didn't know the color was purple, none of that. I just was trying to get away, trying to get out. That thing that made me jump from that second one, like I said, she worked at the airport along with me, and she was still there, but I was injured from that accident, so they felt like I was a liability, so they ended up letting me go because they felt like I was a liability for being in pain and all this stuff. So she was still working there, so I had her card. She told me to come get her, and I'm thinking it's not a good idea. But I did it anyway. Like I said, my sister and my nephews were staying there, and that's those are my heart. My nephew and my sister. So I just want to make sure they safe wherever they at. They got to be where I'm at. I'm where they at, type thing. So I drive over to the DFW airport. I'm waiting on it. She come off the bus. She get in the car. First, I get the silent treatment, the 3rd degree, and I'm like, she mad. It's about to pop off. She mad about something. It's gonna pop off. So I said, well, let me. I already was prepared. I had my wallet in my right pocket and my phone in my left pocket because she was gonna go for my phone. They like to break the phone or they like to do something with the phone. So I'm driving, and then she starts talking, and then she starts yelling. And I told her the reason she started yelling because I told the person that I was previously with that was the relationship was on the rocks, that I was trying to work it out, that I wanted to do better. And I told her that since she was married. I said, since you still in the relationship with your husband, you haven't signed any papers, you know, you need to try to figure that out too. You know, you want me to move in and you want me to be yours and all this sort of stuff, but you still somebody else's wife at the end of the day. You know, even if you don't want to be in that relationship, you still are in that.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, I want to try to figure it out and work it out with the person I was previously with. She lost it. So we driving through downtown Dallas. I'm in the middle of the city, somewhere off 75 and 35. You can see all the skyscrapers around it. And I'm on the freeway and she starts wailing on me. She hitting me. You know,
while you're driving, let me understand why you're driving.
While I'm doing about 70 miles an hour, because you know us Texans be hitting you. I'm doing about 70, 75 miles an hour. I said, oh man, she hitting on me. So I pull over because it's an on ramp, and then this car's going by me, and it's a little like median thing in the middle. So I kind of pull over there, and cars are coming on all sides. They doing 80, 85. I feel all this wind and stuff, and she's hitting me. So I lean on her. And I'm holding her, and she's yelling at me, and she's calling me a B, and she called me a, you know, all kind of names. Every alphabet that's a cuss word I got called. And she kept telling me I wasn't her friend. You not my friend. You not my friend. I hate you. And she's screaming, and her eyes are watering, and she just got this rage. And I'm holding her, and she had asthma. So her asthma attack starts to hit her. And she's still trying to hit me. So I'm holding her. And I'm rolling the window down so she can breathe.
So you
and then she still hitting me. Yeah, then she still hitting me, and I see a magazine on the floor, and I'm fanning her while I'm holding her. And she's still trying to hit me. You ain't my friend. You a B. You a B. You a H. You know. I'm like, okay. I was like, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. 'Cause I'm driving. You need to stop. So I told her to stop more than I can count. More than I can count. I said, no, I said, stop. And it still didn't cease. It don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
You know, she's in a rage. So finally she calmed down somehow. I started driving again and she starts at it again. So my mind says, drive faster and act like you crazy. Maybe it'll scare her because she thinks she done threw you off. So I said, oh, you want us to die? So I'm doing like this and I'm swerving and I'm, you know, I'm hitting about 80 and I'm going, you know. And she's like, no, stop. You know, she starts panicking. I was like, okay, she gonna leave me alone now because now she think I'm crazy. You know, so I take the off ramp. You know, I'm driving through the areas through South Dallas and trying to get to the projects where we stayed at. And she starts at it again. And I see on the opposite side of the street a cop car that done pulled over some brothers over in front of these other little trap houses and stuff. And I said, man, I got to make a U-E. So I pops a U-turn and I pull behind them. And I said, are you gonna stop now? And she sits back, she said, yeah. She said, let's go home or whatever. So I drive from behind the cops.
See that right there. You should have been like, officer. No, good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, they're arresting somebody. They're arresting us. So it probably ain't a good look for me to get out the car.
Can you add her to this arrest situation right there?
You know, they probably told me, sir, back up, please. Because they would thought I knew the brother. I don't know him. I'm trying to get help myself. But she said she was cool. So I said, okay, I'm still thinking I don't want her to get in trouble. We going home to the kids. My sister, my nephews are there. So I make another U-turn, drive back around, drive past the high school, the liquor stores, the cemetery, and I'm into the projects. And I get in there and I pull up to her place. And then she starts hitting on me again and verbally abused me and cussing. So I keep the car in reverse and I jump out and let it roll back. So she jumps over there and takes over. She, you a B, you ain't gonna do nothing. And at this time, man, I said, get out.
Hold on, you're out the car. She's in the car that was rolling. She basically gets in the driver's seat to control the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she pulls back up into the parking space and put the park on. So I'm sitting outside and my cell phone wasn't on at the moment because it was cut off. So it wasn't on. So I'm using her Wi-Fi.
Yep.
So she goes in the house and cuts the Wi-Fi off. so I can't call any of my contacts to get help.
Yeah.
So I was like, she cut the Wi-Fi off. You know, my sister and my nephews in the house, but I didn't want to tell them what was going on because I was embarrassed and because I knew they didn't have anywhere else to go. You
Yep.
know, like I said, we had been living in the hotels, and you can't stay with my mama because
Well,
she
we
just
kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was
You
just
let us
still
know.
verbally abusive and doing what she doing, fighting people. So I'm sitting outside in the dark. It's probably like 11, 12 midnight in Dallas. Um, she comes out, she's smoking a cigarette with asthma. Go figure. She comes out, she's all in my face. She's talking about, you don't love me no more. I'm not attracted to you. And I was like, just stay back, just
Yeah.
leave me alone. You know,
Let's keep
just
him.
go over there. You don't have any right to put your hands on me ever. Don't talk to me. And she's like, what, you don't love me? You know, she's antagonizing, she's smiling, and she's, you know, putting her hand like this and caressing my face.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, just stop, you know, leave me alone.
Right.
So she this makes her mad. So she says, oh, and she throws the cigarette down. And I see it in her eyes then. You know, I ain't never played professional football, but I said, okay, this defensive lineman is about to rush me. So
Mm-hmm.
she runs at me, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. So my first thought is a hip toss. So she comes, and I get over the hip, and she falls on the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And I fall on top of her to lay on her because she's just going wild. So while I'm just laying on her, and I'm holding my hands on top of her like this.
Yep.
She's yelling at me, and she's calling me a B, and she says she's gonna call child support and the police and tell them I owe, and I ain't nothing, and all this other stuff. So she has my hoodie right here. This whole time she's holding my hoodie. And I said, just let me go. I said, we can part ways. I said, you need to stop. And then she said, we ain't friends. We not friends. You a bitch. You a bitch. We
Mm-hmm.
ain't friends. She still holding me. I said, if you
What
let
was
me
this
go, I can
friends
leave.
thing about with her? What she? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know what that meant. I guess we wasn't cool no more or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So I said to myself, okay, if I get up, she's holding this. So she's gonna pull me down and
Right.
come around on me.
Right.
You know. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do this quick. Then I gotta leave. So I jump up and pull from her. She's still holding on. I'm dragging her because she's holding me right here, and I'm going back like this, and she's on her knees. Her wig falls off. She falls on her back. She's still holding on, and I do it real quick to a quick jerk, and she lets go and she falls. And she
Yep.
gets mad, and she said, "You a B, you a
Yep.
B. I'm gonna call the cops. I'm gonna call the cops. I'm gonna tell them you behind on child support. You a B." You know, calling me the N word and
Everything else.
yeah, all of it. You know, and so I'm walking off through the projects, and I'm thinking if somebody done seen me in the project, they gonna jump me because they think I'm jumping on this girl. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I walk away, and she's still following me. I can hear her, and I take off running. I get to the front of the projects, and I walk for about 2-3 blocks, and it's a laundromat open, a washer chair,
Mm-hmm.
and it's locked. And I knock on the door, they let me in, and I asked this lady, I said, "Ma'am, I know you don't know me." I said, "But I just got into a DV issue, and I just need help. Can I
Yep.
please use your phone?" You know, so I called my sister and the guy she was dating at the time, and I told her what happened. And I told him I was just gonna sleep at the bus stop, at the dark stop over at the rail.
Yep.
And my sister like, "No, I can't let you do that. I can't." And so the guy come and try to find me. By the time he finds me, I'm like 6 blocks down the street because I'm a walker. When I think a lot and when I'm stressed, I can walk a long way.
Yep.
You know, before I know it, I'm halfway to town, and it's been a good 1 mile. I'm still walking. You know, so he gets me and he takes me to his house. So I called up.
That's how you ultimately got away from her.
That's how I got away. He took me to his house. I stayed overnight. She went out looking for me. She went to my mom's house. She was out looking for me. My yeah, my mom ended up telling me she came over to the house looking for me. So that next day, I talked to some people in Seattle, and I ended up flying back up to Seattle. That's how I got away. And that was, like I said, October 30th, 31st. And I didn't look back, but she was texting, she was on my Facebook, on my Snapchat, she was messaging.
Keep it moving, right?
You know,
it's like
telling me I was a good person, and you know, I done this and done that, and Then she even told her mom that I was the one who did. So her mom threatened me on Facebook.
You know what?
You don't play with my daughter.
Let me tell you, social media, I know we're all on it, but my God, it's amazing how it gets used for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You almost, and I'm gonna just say something real quick. And Tommy, I have so much stuff I want to ask you. And listen, anybody that's on here watching, I'm keeping this man on here till 8:30. We don't get to talk to the men as much as possible. I've got a couple things I have got to get you to say. But it is amazing to me how at the end of all these situations, these people, these abusers, they will then, they could have done the dirtiest dirt to you, but then to reel you back in will say just about anything to reel you back in so that you will, that you'll remember who they used to be and then say, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done this. And if I wouldn't have done that, then he or she wouldn't have done this. And then you find, nope, it is no contact, no control. If y'all don't hear nothing else, no contact, no control. That's how we stay out of this mess. It has to be that way. So thank goodness you literally physically separated yourself completely.
Yeah.
Now listen, here's what I know, because I've talked to you about this before. I got like 3 more questions you got to answer, okay?
Okay.
This is one. What did domestic violence cost you? I want you to, before you, and then you think about that just for a second. If y'all are still on here, I need you, if you haven't yet, you need to tag somebody in this, share it to a Facebook group you're in, because these are the kinds of things we need to hear, where we just sit and let a man tell his story. You all hear women tell our stories all the time. I'm letting this man just tell his story. I don't want him to shut up. I want him to say his piece, because it's been asked of me so many times. So Tommy, my next question is, what did it cost you? Because it costs all of us something. What did domestic violence cost you?
It cost me myself. First of all, I forgot who I was. You know, it took me completely out of character. It messed up my finances.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
I got a car repo. You know, it messed up I had A+ credit. It messed that up. I had finally gotten my passport because like I was telling you the other day, I was training as a flight attendant in Fort Lauderdale for 6 weeks.
Right.
And due to the previous DV issue where I had my ex-wife and a daughter, because of not having to work, I got behind on my child support. So in order to be a flight attendant with any airline, you have to have a passport so you can go international. They looked at that as being a flight risk. So they
because you hadn't paid the child support.
Yeah. To a daughter that I don't get to see, you know, because of her mother, because of parental alienation, which is something else everyone needs to know about. Yeah. So I'm down there testing, like I said, for 6 weeks as a flight attendant. The last day I had to go try to do a quick passport so I could go ahead and get everything processing.
Yep.
So I'm acing all my tests. I'm doing good. I'm ready. I'm ready to be an FA. Next thing I know, they tell me I can't do it because Washington State child support said they cannot release my passport to me. So that day I went in, I flunked my last test, and they sent me home. I cried for about 4 weeks.
After all that work.
Being a flight attendant is not easy, y'all. It's not just about serving drinks. It's we everything in there. The stuff we have to know, nobody has to know but us. And I have so much respect for them.
Yep.
So ultimately I end up getting another job with that airline in Dallas. But that still lingers over me. So once I told the people at the airline, the CEOs and stuff, what was going on, they sent a letter to Washington State telling them, this is what Tommy's doing. He's an in-flight training, therefore he needs a passport.
Right.
So they said, oh, okay, and they released it. But they released it when I'm in Dallas working for the airline as a CSA at the ticket counter. Yeah. So I already been kicked out. So in order to go back to in-flight school, I would have to wait another 6 months and train another 6 weeks.
Yep.
So therefore, I lost that job. I lost that career because of child support, because of the previous DV. And the second girl in Dallas, she knew about this situation. And she was there when I finally did get my passport. And she was so proud. But that night I left in October, I didn't tell y'all, the night I said I jumped when it was done, she took all my clothes, bleached them and burned them. She went through all my envelopes, paperwork. She took all my jewelry. She took all my underwear. She took everything. She even took the passport. I don't know where it is.
After all of that,
you
still end up with
no passport.
And let me tell you, that's the stuff. They know what's most important because we spoke it. We spoke in it, right?
Yeah.
So she knew.
Yeah,
she knew exactly what hurt you.
Yeah, she definitely knew. But the funny thing about it, you might have took all my clothes and I left with just a sweat and a FAMU hoodie on my back. But today I got way more clothes and blessings, and they ain't even about the material things. But God blessed me and He gave me a lot more. I can't fit all my clothes in my closet.
I know
she thought she thought she defeated me. She thought she had me down. You had me down for a couple of months. But ultimately, all that material stuff you took, I got it back double time.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And that's that. You led me right to my next thing. Here's the thing. That's right. Amen. Yeah, now you jumped. You went through all that stuff. I almost forgot the part about the clothes and the burn and oh my God, I almost forgot about all that stuff. You jumped, but your story didn't end there, right? You actually have your journey that you worked on toward healing. And you got your life as it is today. And I want you to really tell us like the kind of stuff that you're doing, because you're sitting here on this episode with me, which I think is I'm so grateful for you because I cannot like these conversations, they just don't happen. I'm grateful for you. So I want you to tell people what you've been doing, because it didn't start with me. Like you're on my episode today, but this isn't the first time you've spoken. This isn't the first time you shared your story and brought light to this. So tell us what you've been doing.
Well, I mean, I am on here with you, Queen Divine 9. I'm on the 23rd episode. I feel like MJ in the game right now. Number 23 is that, and we still right now. But I mean, I've been advocating since 2016.
Yes.
That's when I first started speaking out. My first show I was on was Jay and Shay, Fire and Ice show over in DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. I love Jay and Shay. They encouraged me and they got me on there, and that was my first show and it was a great show. I've done so many since then. It's so many sisters, up in Canada, my sisters over in New York, my sisters in Cali. Down in Houston, the conferences I've spoken at, the panels I've been on. I do, if there's something, in the city, just tell me. I get on a flight and I come over. I always come over and speak. I'm always on panels. I've been on podcasts, radio stations, blogs, vlogs, whatever it is they tell me. I'm going to get out there and get on it, and to tell you the truth, the reason why I started advocating was because when I was at that airline with my second abuser, I'm a big advocate for Make-A-Wish.
Oh, yes.
So I was the supervisor that day. I was working a Make-A-Wish flight. And this young man, back then, he was 13, 14 years old. And I was like, in Seattle, we do all this for him. I don't know what we do in Dallas, but in Seattle, we need to, we do all this. We need to do stuff. So we took the airline car. We out there buying stuff for him, trying to get him a little baggie and goodie together. And him and his mom and his brother and his dad, they were so loving and so caring. They were from Eugene, Oregon.
Yes.
Jacob's heart story. He's a CHD survivor and he advocates for the heart. I end up following them and everything. And after they left, I end up staying in contact with them. So therefore, every year, I go to Portland to the Oregon Zoo and we do the Make-A-Wish walk. So I walk with him. And I was talking to him, like I said, he's 13, 14. I told him and his mom, I said, Jacob, Janice, I said, I want to advocate like y'all do. I said, if you this brave at 13 to come up here and talk about what's going on with your heart, and he's been doing it before that, and he what his wish was, he met Stan Lee,
Oh yeah.
Marvel. He
Uh-huh.
met Stan Lee. So he has his own Nike shoe. He has his own jacket. He has his own hat. He speaks in Washington, D.C. He speaks in Portland, Oregon, and they're all over Oregon. He's an amazing young man. And
Mm.
he just inspired me. I went to a couple of conventions with him in Houston and watched him do his thing with CHD. So I'm on the board at Jacob's Heart Story
Look
because
at
he asked me to do
that.
it. Yeah,
Are
so
y'all listening to this man? Listen,
yes,
Miss Johnny made a comment, and this is my second time putting it up. I honor you, brother. Thanks for sharing your story. Do
thank
you
you.
understand? Like people, this just, oh my gosh. You could have said, I never want another soul. If you, one of those like, if you weren't there, you would never know. If you weren't there the day she hit me, if you weren't there the day the cops showed up, you'll never know. You could have taken that stance. Tommy, you could have done that. But what you said is, because you know what? The cycle continues when we don't speak. The cycle continues when we are silent. That's the whole thing about them. You already know. I ain't got to tell you this. That's the whole thing about domestic violence is that people and all of us, victims, we tend to be silent because we're so ashamed. We're so embarrassed. We just want to put it all behind us and try to move our lives forward and almost wish it never even happened. If I could just erase it. Well, guess what the truth is? Can't erase it.
Yeah.
It's forever a part of you somewhere, forever a part of you. And that's okay if you do the right thing with it. And that's what you and I are trying to do. That's what you and I are trying to do. So I could talk to you all night. Okay. So what final thoughts do you have? Do you want to leave with this audience? Is whether the people who are watching now, men who might watch it later, I don't care. But what final thoughts would you like to leave with this audience? Whoever's listening.
I just first I want to speak to the men.
Yeah.
Take me seriously, fellas. I know we got the ego, we macho, we hard, we grew up in the streets, or we just tough,
Right.
but ultimately we have to learn to get our mental health together. We gotta get it right. We gotta learn how to talk. So I want you guys to speak up, speak out. Like she said, silent no more. We don't have to be quiet. We've been quiet too long. We need to stand up with our survivor sisters, these queens, take our right side along them. And we need to march. We need to have this purple on, wear this ribbon and tell our story, tell our truths, tell our testimony, because it's helping somebody, even if it's one person, just that one, it's helping them. So I want you guys to don't think, oh, she hit me, she loved me, or it's cute, or it's funny, or she didn't really hurt me because I'm strong, I can take it. Man, kill all that noise. She hitting you, that's assault. Because like I was telling the queen the other day, if you in a restaurant with your girl and you're in front of the cops and she hits you, that's assault.
That's assault.
The cops are gonna arrest her. If you in a restaurant with your girl and you go upside her head, you getting arrested for assault.
That's right.
And they gonna bury you under the jail.
Yep.
So you need to say something. You need to not let them feel like it's okay. Not have the double standard, not have the taboo. Get out here and report this. Get out here and say something. And yeah, we might not feel like the cops in the judicial system are much help, but sometimes we have to go that route too. Sometimes just to protect yourself, to protect your own peace, you got to go out there and do it too. Go out there and tell the law, put the report. And when they say, do you want to press charges? Say yes. Don't do like me and just let it slide. Say yes. Tell somebody what's going on. When you say no, no means no for you too. Not just because you're a man, it doesn't mean no. Doesn't mean no.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that's why I say just go out here and speak on it. And to my sisters out here, It does happen to men. It definitely does. And we're not trying to take the limelight from any of you. You know, it happens, and we feel the same way. We bruise, we bleed, we hurt. We think about, oh, you know, love is blind. You know, we think about, oh, was this good sex, or I love them, or I don't want to fail, or I'm inadequate. You know, we feeling all these feelings too. Just because we men don't mean we don't feel nothing.
Thank you.
You know, we feel stuff deep, and that's sometimes that's the problem. When men feel something deep, they just gonna shut off because they don't know how to express it. They don't know where to put it because we've been told so long to be strong, be a man, don't be no punk, real men don't cry, all this different sort of stuff. But at the same time, it's like I said, it's too many double standards. I always see these posts on Facebook, real men don't hit women. Well, ladies, real women don't do what?
Hit men. Thank you.
I don't ever see that side.
Don't ever see that. You are so
you don't
right.
ever hear that. You know, so it's like you can't have these double standards, ladies. You can't have this entitlement. We supposed to be in this fight together. You know, you got to learn to hold people accountable and be completely transparent. So if your girl out here saying, "Oh, I'm gonna check this dude," don't encourage it. Don't enable it. Because if he out here, if you see somebody out here checking that girl, you don't want him doing that.
Correct. Absolutely
it's
correct.
The same thing. Why would it be any different? You know, we all supposed to be humans. We all supposed to be working this thing out together. We all supposed to be equals.
I think it goes back to what you said, that ego thing. Not even just ego, but just how do I as a man, I mean, I'm not a man, but how do I as a man admit that someone is taking advantage of me who's typically smaller frame? How am I not able to handle my business?
Right.
How I'm letting some woman dominate me. Can I admit that? If I tell it to this person or tell it to that person, first of all, nobody's going to think I'm a man. But it's almost like your manhood's on the line. No, I'm not a man, so it's so hard for me to speak to these things. But I'm just
you hitting that nail on the
head.
head.
The points that you're making, right?
Yeah.
You standing is a man thing in the first place. Just taking a stand and saying that's wrong. It doesn't matter who's doing the wrong. I don't care if it's man, woman, child, animal. If you as a man see a wrong being done, taking a stand and saying no is being a man to me. So I just pray that somebody is listening, and like, there's so many guys, Tommy, and you know better than I do. You know the men who have dealt with this. You know this crowd. And it's like, gosh, if we could just stop allowing, as we say, toxic behavior. And like I said to you the other day on the phone, it's almost like because the word domestic is in front of the word violence, suddenly it's not violence anymore. It's, yo, but you weak. No. I'm sorry. Cut the domestic off. It is violence.
Yeah, exactly.
That is an assault. And I feel like people, I'm going on a rant, but I just feel like people
you got it. You own it.
Make it something else because it's happening between a couple. No, sir, ma'am, that what you just did is violence. Taking your tie and choking you was violence. Burning your clothes and doing all that crazy stuff, that stuff is nothing but abusive behavior, period. It is power and control. And yes, there are women who use power and control against men. I know we're thought to be the weaker sex, right? The weaker sex. Oh, there's a whole lot of women doing a whole lot of dirt. They need to go to jail too. That's what I gotta say. That's what I gotta say.
You know what, Queen? And to tell you the truth, women, I feel like women are, like my pastor used to say, y'all can build a man up. Y'all can build up an empire with your voice. But at the same time, with that tongue, that verbal abuse can cut a man down real quick. A man can't come back with nothing. A man's voice with them, he can say a B. He call you a B. But that's the best he got. That's why he called you that, because he mad. He don't know what else to say. You know, but you can cut a man down from his top to bottom. Just rip him a new one by just a couple of words you say. In his whole mental state, it'll mess with his mental state. It's gonna mess with his heart. It's gonna mess with even his sexual state. because
Mm-hmm.
he ain't gonna be able to perform because he's torn down, because he feeling inadequate and feeling weak, not feeling attractive, feeling like a dog with a tail between his legs.
Oh my God. You are so on it right now. You are so on it. And I think what you are talking about right now is the fact that, like what you just said, I told before on the show, I said, when I was going through my stuff with my ex-husband, he would come, he would do the most, right? Treat me like whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
come back and basically demand sex. How
Mm,
am I supposed to be that? I can't be that. So,
exactly.
so why am I saying this to y'all? Because we tend to think that men and women's experiences are so different. When the
Mm-hmm.
truth of the matter is, the gender is different, but the
Mm-hmm.
cycle of abuse and the
Same.
tactics are the
Mm-hmm.
same. The
Mm-hmm.
cycle of abuse is still real. Power and control is still the whole point of the game. The tactics are still the same. So,
Mm-hmm.
gosh, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's going to happen after this show. You ready?
Yeah, yeah. Get on it. Get
Me,
on it.
me and you and
Okay.
whoever else you know, we're going to come
Okay.
together on some stuff.
Okay.
We're going to come together because it's not just you, and you know some of these other guys who've been through it.
Oh man, I know some strong kings. I look up to them, you know.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And I just want to, I know it's 8:30 and people are hanging on. I love y'all for hanging on. You see what Miss
Yeah.
Johnny added. 1 out of 7 men suffer from DVC. This, depending on where you get the statistic from, you hear a different number. But 1 in 7 is even worse, right? One out of every
Mm-hmm.
7 men suffer from domestic violence every 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
This must stop. It's all of us. Domestic violence doesn't discriminate for gender, race, age, socioeconomic status, education level. It doesn't discriminate. It's happening
Not at
everywhere.
all.
It's
Exactly.
happening everywhere. And add religion to that too. That's a whole nother
Mm-hmm.
level that you and I have
Mm-hmm.
talked about. So,
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, it is 8:27. Our
Yes,
people have
ma'am.
hung on for us. We love y'all for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Is
Love
there
y'all.
anything else you want to add? Is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to say I appreciate you, Queen Divine Nine, for having me on this evening. You
You
know,
make me feel kind of special.
it ain't a feeling. That's what that is. I'm just putting it out there. Man, I loved it. I love the show. I love what you're doing. Your smile, your spirit, it's everything. You know, I appreciate everybody coming on tonight. The support. You know, I appreciate the kings and the brothers that influenced me, the queens that influenced me. Jacob's heart story. I appreciate Alaska Airlines for helping me get out. You know, it's just so many people that I could thank. And
Mm-hmm.
I love my brothers over at FAMU. Y'all know who you are. Love my folks in Dallas and Houston, everywhere around the country. It's
let
all
me
love.
let me put on one name that you gotta thank. Right there.
Oh, there she go. There's my sister. That's my
Hey
little
sis.
big sister, Shasta. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
she added a
she's
new
like,
comment. Look.
oh boy, yeah, yeah. Me and my sister, we talk a lot. She's my best friend, man. Like I said, we've been going through this for years, and she told me the other week we have to unlearn everything that mama taught us so we can be healthy, so we can get our
Yes.
mental health together, so we can
Yes.
have healthy relationships. Because she 42, I'm 41, and it's like now we got to figure it out. We got
And
to
where is she physically?
Oh, she in Dallas at home right now. I
I'm
hope she ain't messing with my stuff.
I'm coming to I'm coming to Dallas. I'm coming to what is it, the triple D?
Hey, you come
I
to the
need
Triple
some
D.
barbecue and
Ooh. Hey, we'll take you around. We like to shop and stunt down there, and she definitely love to eat. She about 5'4". She eats out of house and home.
that is hilarious. That's hilarious. Listen, you are phenomenal. I thank you so much.
Thank
You
you.
just, I
Likewise.
thank you for no matter what has happened, right? When I
Yeah,
look at you and look at me, no matter
yeah,
what's happened to us, We both
Yeah.
still do this, right? We
Hey,
still
hey,
got that.
man, don't get me started.
We still got that energy, and we trash
Yeah,
talk, and we like, I'm fly, you fly, we still
yeah.
fly.
Hey, touch it up.
Look, she said, "Come
Already.
on, all right now. When I show up, I need to make. I need the red carpet to get rolled out."
Hey, hey, we got you, Delta.
That's right, the red carpet. All right,
Yeah.
listen, it's 8:30. Y'all, listen, these viewers on here, everybody is on here. I want to say thank you to you for even hanging on for this extra half hour. I had to have this extra moment with Tommy. I had to. So
Yeah.
listen, next week I have another queen that's gonna come on here. She's from this area. I don't even want to tell y'all about my last episode of the month. I'm gonna leave that one a secret till I put the flyer out. But my next guest for next weekend, she's gonna come in here and tell her story too, and we're gonna talk about her time to jump. And I'm telling you, y'all, when I was like, I don't even want to repeat it, but at the same time, I do want her to tell that story. For the men that are listening, you are more than enough. You define you. You are amazing. You are powerful in your own right. I don't care what happened. I don't care what happened. And it is in spaces like this that you are welcome to tell your story. We would love to have you come on. Look, wait, hold on. I got to show this. It's already rolled out. She said the red carpet already rolled out. Listen, thank you, Miss Johnny. I miss you a little bit, Miss Johnny. I miss you a little bit. So glad you came onto the show. So Tommy, this is not the end of us talking. We got some work to do,
Oh,
brother.
most
We got
definitely.
some work to do.
Yeah, I feel
Thank you, everybody. Good night. I'm gonna let y'all go. I know y'all gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
We will see y'all soon, okay? Tommy, don't hang up just yet, okay?
Okay.
All right, good night, everybody. Peace. See
Night.
y'all later.
My love.